Hi, I'm Richard Burns, and thanks for coming to In the Flow, the channel for spiritual beings about spiritual beings. All of our episodes are embedded with transformational energy. Thus, as you watch, you can receive healing energy.
My name is Lira Kay, and I am a healer and a teacher who her whole life for the past 30 years worked with thousands of people to bring them faith, to bring them to the sense of enlightenment that they need, I think, to live this life as humans. I'm a natural healer. I was born this way. I think you maybe heard a lot of that. When I was when I was a baby, those are my first memories of remembering spiritual world. I could see energy with my eyes. At 4 years old, I remember I started sharing. My mom has a medical degree, so she really freaked out. So I was told, what are you seeing there? Don't say that. Don't lie. So I'm sure I've spoken with a lot of healers, so they told me about so often those interesting spiritual experiences, mystical experiences, something that they were hiding. So that was me as well. But about when I was 7, as soon as I could write, I was a channel. I could always write something that comes through me. So I was always a writer. I'm a best-selling author at this point, and I've written many books. But I already knew always that I'm a healer because I had that effect on people. At 17, I started training. My father was a famous artist and a spiritual teacher. I wasn't connected with him until 17 years old. But as I started training, I became much more masterful at energy, and I could already feel energy anyway. But then at this point, I could really be, I think, of use to other people. I started working with healers who would take me. I was very young. They would say, you have very strong energy. Can you just stand with me? So this is how I kind of started looking at really, really impressive, very famous healers actually in Russia at the time, Siberian shamans, and experience what it could look like, that kind of healing. But I think my gift is to do with head, is to do with mind. So I always had tendency to investigate and learn more, and this is why I became psychotherapist, because I wanted to understand what's going on when we work with energy, what's the effect. So that is also a huge part of my work, is to be a kind of a messenger, translator of that for people. Throughout my life, I think I was very familiar with spiritual world. I always had real mystical experiences. I would see mandalas on the walls. Time to time I would have dreams that would predict things. I could feel into things. So that wasn't a kind of a new. But the experience I want to share was probably more dramatic, is the one when I was in my 40s already and lived through a very tragic loss. And I was carrying a lot of guilt. And that was the time when I found myself on my knees and actually praying. And I'm not a religious person, but that felt like that's the only thing I could do to just let go of that pain. And I heard the voice from above saying, you can have mercy. And it's one of the most, profound spiritual experiences, I would say, comparing to all the other sort of very magical living that I had. Because for the first time, I think I can only describe that was a voice of a God. And to me, that was a kind of an interesting concept. What is God? Because my beliefs were not around that, were not based on being religious. So that's very profound, very strong experience there. I became a psychotherapist, and I said, I don't want to deal with people's trauma and pain because I feel it all the time. It's too much on me. But ultimately, I was that. I was always that. And in my 40s, when I became consciously started a business, for example, around healing, and accepted the fact that this is who I am. I'm doing it anyway. Let's just do it professionally now. Things started changing. What helped me through was practice and discipline that I learned from my father. I was lucky to have a mentor who would show me and tell me, like, this is how you attend to your gift, this is how you do, this is how you practice, which is every day. It's not some kind of a once in a blue moon you feel things and other times you don't. No, you just develop that. Get out of that attitude maybe that people are against you or the world is against you, you're alone. First of all, you're not alone. I think this day and age people are so aware. I was growing up in Soviet Russia where there's no healers and that people don't talk about that stuff. So there's no spirituality. We were kind of weird people out there. But I think in the States or almost anywhere else, this is very spoken about. So find your community and watch out for escapism. Watch out for those unhealthy habits that also sensitive people can have to cope with a lot of energy around them. So, I think discipline would be the word that I would suggest. I know maybe it's not so, so sexy for people to hear, but that is what's going to get you through and what's going to make you an amazing healer, because being aware of your gift and knowing how to give it to people is like it's going to change everything in your life. Whenever I would work in person with somebody, yes, if I wanted to, I could close my eyes and start feeling into it. Yeah, I see glimpses of energy sometimes, but I don't that's not my kind of medium that I always bring out. I think it's just kind of there. The awareness is there. I think once you understand that energy is real, the way you're going to work, the way you're going to communicate, the way you're going to live is going to be different comparing to just taking physical reality as this is all there is. For myself, I personally make decisions in my life that are very intuitive. If I see something, if I can predict something, then I act upon it. So I personally moved to the island to live on the ocean, on the beach, and just really be in a close proximity to the nature. Nature is a huge force for me where I draw energy from. And one of the questions was about young people. I totally recommend that. If you often the invitation to find the source somewhere is all over the place, including social media and all those drives that are very tempting and seemingly available. But I do recommend to find something way bigger than that as your source of inspiration and as your source of energy. So big energies like ocean, mountains, big spaces, I think is one of the things that you probably want to have in your life. If you're in a city, you have to feel big connection. Like, for example, New York City is interesting, right? I feel every city has got quite a bit of personality. So you have to find your place there. You have to know that that's what you're going to be feeding on. So find something that's really goes for you. With existential questions people are having around me, myself as well. Actually, sort of started maybe having the existential questions as I moved closer to the nature. I think it happens, but ocean is a huge inspiration for me. So that is what I would say. How my lifestyle right now is completely aligned with what I'm doing. As a world, as a humanity in general, we do have intimacy issues. We feel, that's what I'm seeing, that it is not easy for us to just be there with people. But I think we are in a hard sort of era as a humanity, and it's a beautiful potential to experience love, to experience oneness with people. I think that's when it, in the best case scenarios, you can really have that. But it takes a lot of courage. So as a humanity, I think this is why I work with faith, because faith gives you courage. You need to be able to take a risk to be with people without healing. All of that ambition that people have, that is a very spiritual ambition. I think this is what spirit does to us. It makes us to want things and reach out for things in life. We want to grow. We want to become something else, someone else. That is not possible, because healing is the process that gets you to leave your old self behind, whatever the past was. So that's why healing is necessary for anybody. For anybody who is looking to grow, they need to be able to let go of that other stuff. My life's mission is to teach people and to heal people. It's always been the same. I knew it from very, very early age, and I carried it through to my, I turned 50 this year, so this is it. I've been doing it, and I'll continue doing it.